What if the reason so many good things feel far away is not because life has forgotten you, but because your hands have been too full to receive them? What if the more tightly you hold on, the more tired you become, and the more tired you become, the less you're able to notice the quiet gifts already trying to reach you? There is a simple truth that can change the way you move through your whole life, and it is this: the less you need, the more the universe gives. Not because life wants you to stop caring, not because you are supposed to give up on your dreams, but because when your heart is no longer filled with fear, pressure, and desperate wanting, there is finally room for peace to enter. There is room for clarity. There is room for love. There is room for the kind of blessing that does not need to be chased, because it already knows how to find you. So many people live with a feeling of constant reaching for approval, reaching for answers, reaching for signs, reaching for love, reaching for more money, more success, more control, more certainty, more proof that everything will turn out all right. And this reaching can become so normal that it begins to feel like a way of life. It becomes the background feeling behind every thought, even in quiet moments. The mind keeps asking, what else do I need? What am I still missing? What do I have to do so life will finally give me what I want? And little by little, this way of living makes the heart feel heavy. It makes the body tired. It makes peace seem like something far away. But peace is not far away. It has only been covered by noise. There is a softer way to live. There is a way to move through life without gripping it so tightly. There is a way to want something beautiful without making your whole happiness depend on it. There is a way to trust that what is meant for you does not need fear to bring it closer. This way begins when you stop coming to life like a beggar and start living like someone who already belongs here, already matters, already has value, already has worth, already has enough inside to stand in the present moment without panic. And the strange, beautiful thing is this: the moment you stop begging life to prove that you are enough, life begins to open in ways you could not force before. Take a breath and really feel this. The less you need, the more the universe gives. The less you cling, the more you receive. The less you chase, the more things begin to come to you in peace. This is not a trick. It is not a game. It is not about pretending that you want nothing. It is about releasing the pain behind wanting. It is about letting go of the fear that says, if I do not get this, I will not be okay. That fear is what closes the heart. That fear is what makes people run after things that were never meant to be earned through suffering. The universe does not respond well to panic. It responds to openness. It responds to trust. It responds to a quiet heart, much more than to a desperate one. Think about how hard it is to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter the grip, the more quickly it slips away. But when the hand is open, the water can rest there. Life works like that too. So often, people think that holding tighter will bring safety. They think more control, more force, more trying, more planning, more pushing will finally make things happen. But many times, all that force only creates more struggle. It fills the mind with noise. It fills the body with tension. It makes each day feel like work, even when nothing is wrong in the present moment. The need itself becomes the burden. There is a reason peace feels so different from pressure. Pressure says, it has to happen now. Peace says, what is mine will come in the right way at the right time. Pressure says, I cannot relax until life changes. Peace says, I can breathe right now, even before the answer appears. Pressure says, I must hold everything together. Peace says, life can hold me too. And when you begin to live from peace, the whole energy of your life starts to shift. You stop sending out fear with every thought. You stop making every dream feel like an emergency. You stop acting as though life is against you. You begin to stand in a quiet truth. I do not need to force what is already finding its way to me. There is something deeply freeing about no longer needing every moment to look a certain way, no longer needing every person to stay, no longer needing every plan to work out exactly as expected, no longer needing constant proof that the future will be easy. This does not mean you become cold or distant. It means you become free. It means your heart is no longer chained to one picture of how life must unfold. It means you can still hope, still dream, still care deeply, but without fear sitting in the center of your chest. And when fear is no longer sitting, there, other things have space to grow. Calmness grows, trust grows, patience grows, gratitude grows. Even joy begins to rise in places where worry once lived. Many people think they need more in order to feel safe. More money, more attention, more praise, more answers, more signs, more certainty. But often what they really need is less. Less pressure, less fear, less attachment, less overthinking, less trying to hold the whole world on their shoulders, less of the false belief that life only works if they keep tightening their grip. The soul does not open through pressure. It opens through softness. It opens through trust. It opens when you stop fighting every unknown and start saying, maybe I do not need to know everything right now in order to be at peace. And what happens when you become peaceful? You begin to notice what was always there. A helpful door opens. A clear idea comes to you without force. A conversation arrives at the right time. A delay protects you from something you could not yet see. An answer appears after you stop chasing it. A sense of support rises inside you for no reason other than the fact that you finally became still enough to feel it. These things are easy to miss when the mind is crowded with need. Need makes everything feel urgent. Need turns life into a test. Need makes even blessings feel unstable because the heart is afraid they could disappear. But trust changes the atmosphere. Trust says, I can receive this moment without clinging to it. I can enjoy what comes without fear. I can let life move and still know I am held. This is why so much of life changes when you stop living from hunger and start living from wholeness. Hunger says, I must get something from outside myself before I can rest. Wholeness says, I bring peace with me, and from that peace I can receive whatever life wants to offer. Hunger makes the future feel like the only place where happiness can exist. Wholeness lets you breathe now, and when you breathe now, you stop running past the very gifts you were asking for. Sometimes the blessing is not only in getting the thing you wanted. Sometimes the blessing is becoming the kind of person who no longer falls apart while waiting. That is a deep kind of freedom. To be able to want something and still be calm. To pray for change and still be steady. To hope for more and still feel grateful now. To dream without pressure, to release without fear, to say, I would love this, but I do not need it in order to know that life is still good. This is the kind of energy that opens the heart wide. This is the kind of energy that allows life to move with you, not against you. This is the kind of energy that attracts what fits, what flows, what lasts, what heals. For a moment, just let yourself imagine what it would feel like to stop carrying so much need inside your chest. Imagine waking up in the morning without the heavy feeling that something is missing. Imagine moving through the day without begging every moment to give you proof that you are safe. Imagine trusting that you are allowed to rest even before all the answers arrive. Imagine the peace of not pulling at life, not demanding from it, not asking it to hurry just because your mind feels afraid. There is a softness in that image, and that softness is not weakness. It is power. It is the power of a heart that is no longer at war with the present moment. The truth is, the universe gives most freely where there is room, not where there is force, not where there is panic, not where there is constant inner shouting. Room, space, openness, a calm yes, an open hand, a trusting heart. The less you need from life in order to feel whole, the more life can place in your hands without it becoming another weight. Because now you are not receiving from fear, you are receiving from peace. You are no longer asking life to complete you, you are letting life meet you. And when life meets you like that, everything begins to feel different. Not always easier right away, but different in the deepest way. The mind softens, the body loosens, the heart stops running, the day stops feeling like a struggle to survive. You begin to see that what you truly needed was never more pressure. It was more trust, more breathing room, more faith in the timing of things, more willingness to release what you cannot control, more courage to believe that what belongs to you can reach you without you chasing it through exhaustion. There is wisdom in having less need. There is beauty in wanting with an open heart instead of a frightened one. There is healing in saying, I no longer need to force life in order to believe that life can still be good to me. These words change something inside you. They create room. They create rest. They create a quiet place where grace can finally land. And the more you live from that place, the more you will notice that life has been trying to give to you all along. Not always in the way you expected, not always in the time you demanded, but always with a deeper wisdom than fear can understand. So breathe that in now. The less you need, the more the universe gives. Let those words sit in your heart, not as a rule, but as a release, not as something to force, but as something to remember. The universe does not ask you to become empty in a cold way. It asks you to become open in a peaceful way. It asks you to loosen the grip of fear. It asks you to let go of the idea that your blessings must be earned through struggle. It asks you to trust that peace is not the prize at the end. Peace can be the way you walk there. And maybe that is where everything begins to change. Not when you finally get every answer. Not when every prayer has already been answered. Not when life becomes perfect, but to right here, in this moment, when you stop saying, I need life to hurry, and begin saying, I am willing to trust, I am willing to soften, I am willing to make room, because it is in that room that miracles breathe. It is in that room that love settles. It is in that room that the universe can finally place its gifts into hands that are no longer shaking from fear. When you hear the words needing less, it may sound at first like you are being asked to stop caring, to lower your hopes, to ask for nothing, or to live without desire. But that is not what this means at all. Needing less is not the same as wanting less. It is not the same as dreaming less. It is not the same as settling for a life that feels small, empty, or flat. Needing less means something much softer and much wiser. It means that your peace is no longer tied to one outcome. It means that your heart is no longer saying, if this does not happen, then I cannot be okay. It means you can still want something deeply, but without making your whole life depend on it. This is an important difference, because many people do not suffer from desire itself. They suffer from the fear under the desire. They suffer from the pressure they place on the future. They suffer from the feeling that unless life gives them a certain thing, in a certain way, by a certain time, they will somehow be left behind, unloved, unseen, or not enough. This is what creates pain, not the dream, but the desperate attachment to the dream, not the wish, but the fear that you are nothing without it, and this fear can turn even beautiful desires into heavy burdens. There is a peaceful kind of wanting, and there is a painful kind of needing. Peaceful wanting says, I would love this, and I trust that what is right for me will unfold in the right way. Painful needing says, I must have this now, or I will fall apart. Peaceful wanting leaves room for life to breathe. Painful needing closes every window and fills the room with pressure. Peaceful wanting comes from trust. Painful needing comes from fear. And when you begin to see this clearly, you start to understand why some things feel so exhausting. It is not because you care too much. It is because fear has become mixed into your caring. Needing less means taking the fear out of the dream. It means removing the panic from the prayer. It means saying, yes, this matters to me, but my soul is still safe even while I wait. Yes, I hope for this, but I do not need to force it to prove my worth. Yes, I am open to more. but I do not have to live like something is missing in every moment until it arrives. This is such a gentle but powerful change in the way you live. It frees your energy. It softens your body. It helps your mind rest. It brings you back into the present moment instead of sending your whole being into a future you cannot control. A lot of people think that if they stop needing something so much, they will lose their drive. They fear that if they become more peaceful, they will stop growing. But peace does not make you weak. Peace makes you clear. Peace makes you steady. Peace makes you able to move without panic. In fact, some of the best things in life come not when you are desperate, but when you are calm enough to choose wisely. Desperation makes people hold on to what is not right for them. Calmness helps them see what is true. Desperation says yes to what drains them because they are afraid of being alone. Calmness waits for what feels right. Desperation overworks and overgives because it wants approval. Calmness knows that worth does not have to be earned that way. So needing less does not mean doing less or becoming less alive. It means living from a deeper center. It means that your actions come from peace instead of fear. You can still work toward a goal. You can still open your heart to love. You can still pray for healing. You can still build, create, ask, and move forward. But now you are doing it from a place inside that is not broken, not begging, not clinging, not shaking. You are doing it from a place that says, I am already whole enough to stand here and trust the journey. That kind of inner space changes everything. It changes how you wait. It changes how you love. It changes how you respond when something does not go the way you expected. When you need less, delays do not destroy you. Rejection does not define you. Silence does not immediately fill you with panic. You may still feel disappointment. You may still feel sadness. You may still feel longing. But those feelings move through a heart that knows it will survive. That is what makes all the difference. You are no longer standing at the edge of every moment, feeling like one answer could make or break your worth. Think about how much energy gets used each day by needing someone to text back in a certain way, needing people to understand you all the time, needing the plan to go exactly right, needing the future to be clear before you can relax, needing more proof, more reassurance, more control, more signs that you are on the right path. This kind of need pulls your energy away from peace. It creates a tight feeling in the body. It keeps the mind running in circles. It makes the present moment feel too small because everything important seems trapped in what has not happened yet. Now imagine what happens when that need softens. Imagine saying, I still care, but I do not need to force this. I still hope, but I am not going to let fear run my life. I still want what is good for me, but I trust that what is meant for me does not depend on panic. Feel how different that is. It is almost like putting down a heavy bag you did not even realize you had been carrying. The body breathes more easily. The chest opens. The mind becomes less crowded. Space returns. And in that space, you begin to hear your own wisdom again. Needing less also means it's no longer asking one thing to carry too much weight. Sometimes people place all their hope, all their worth, all their future, all their safety into one relationship, one opportunity, one answer, one decision, and then of course it feels impossible to relax because that one thing has become too important. It has become bigger than it was ever meant to be. But life is much wider than one moment. Your worth is much deeper than one result. Your future is not hanging by one thread. The soul becomes lighter when it remembers this. When you need less, you stop saying, "This one thing must save me." Instead, you begin to say, "Life is still bigger than this moment. Good can reach me in more than one way. Love can come in more than one form. Healing can happen through paths I have not yet imagined. Peace can be here even before the answer arrives." These thoughts are not just comforting, they are freeing. They loosen the hold that fear has on your heart. They remind you that you are not trapped inside one outcome. They remind you that life still has room to surprise you. This is why needing less is really about trust. Trust that you will be okay. Trust that what leaves is not always loss. Trust that what is delayed is not always denied. Trust that what is meant for you does not need desperate chasing. Trust that if one door closes, life is still able to guide you in another direction. Trust that your worth is not changing with each passing mood, each message, each result, each opinion. Trust that you are held by something larger than the fear in your mind. That is what needing less feels like. It feels like learning to lean into life instead of fighting it all the time. It also means becoming honest about the things you have been using as proof of your value. Maybe you have been needing praise in order to feel enough. Maybe you have been needing constant contact in order to feel loved. Maybe you have been needing success in order to feel safe. Maybe you have been needing people to stay in order to believe you matter. But none of these things were ever meant to carry the full weight of your identity. They can be enjoyed. They can be appreciated. They can be part of life, but they cannot be the foundation of your peace. When they become the foundation, your peace becomes fragile. When peace returns to the inside, life becomes more stable. There is a beautiful strength in being able to say, "I appreciate what is good, but I do not cling to it. I welcome what comes, but I do not worship it. I allow life to move, and I stay rooted in something deeper than circumstances." This is not distance. This is maturity of the soul. This is a heart that has learned that love is sweeter when it is free, that success feels better when it is not carrying all your worth, that waiting hurts less when it is held in trust, that even uncertainty becomes easier when you stop needing certainty every minute. Needing less also brings you back to gratitude, because when you are no longer staring only at what is missing, you begin to notice what is already here. A quiet morning, a clear breath, a kind word, a meal in front of you, a body that has carried you through difficult days, a mind that is learning, a heart that is still open after all it has known. These things may seem small, but they become powerful when they are noticed. Need makes the present feel empty because it is always pointing somewhere else. Gratitude fills the present with life again. And something very beautiful happens when gratitude returns. the heart becomes less hungry. It stops saying, "I cannot rest until more arrives." It starts saying, "There is goodness here already, and I can receive it now." This does not block future blessings. It actually opens the door to them because gratitude is a sign that the heart knows how to receive. A grateful heart is not clinging. It is open. It is soft. It is aware. It is alive to the quiet ways life keeps showing up. To need less is to stop arguing with the present moment. It is to stop saying, "This moment is not enough. This day is not enough. This version of me is not enough. This stage of life is not enough." It is to stop treating today like a waiting room for real life. It is to stop acting as though peace can only begin later. Later when the money comes. Later when the answer comes. Later when the relationship changes. Later when you feel more sure. But peace can begin now. In fact, it must begin now if you want to stop being ruled by fear. This does not mean every moment will feel easy. It does not mean you will never have longing again. It does not mean you will never care deeply. It simply means that longing no longer becomes panic, and caring no longer becomes control. You can hold your desires in open hands. You can pray with trust. You can move toward what matters without turning it into an inner emergency. That is the real meaning of needing less. It is not emptiness. It is freedom. It is not giving up. It is letting go of fear. It is not becoming cold. It is becoming calm. When you begin to live this way, you may notice that many things start to feel lighter. Not because every outside problem disappears, but because you are no longer adding so much pressure from the inside. You are no longer making every unknown feel like danger. You are no longer asking every moment to confirm that you are safe. Instead, you begin to carry safety within you, and that changes how you walk through everything. You become less reactive, less rushed, less afraid of pause, less afraid of silence, less afraid of not knowing. And in this new space, life has room to meet you. So if you have been feeling tired lately, ask yourself gently, what am I needing so much right now? What fear is sitting under that need? What am I making too heavy? What have I been asking one outcome to prove to me? These are soft questions, not harsh ones. They are not meant to judge you. They are meant to free you, because the moment you see the fear, you can begin to release it. The moment you see the pressure, you can begin to breathe. The moment you stop calling fear love, you can begin to choose peace instead. And peace is what brings you back to yourself. Peace is what reminds you that your soul is larger than any temporary lack. Peace is what helps you sit with life as it is without falling apart inside. Peace is what lets you say, I can still trust, I can still soften, I can still breathe, I can still believe that what is meant for me will not miss me. That is what needing less really means. It means choosing peace over pressure again and again until peace becomes the place you live from instead of the thing you keep chasing. The universe gives more when there is space. This is a simple truth, but it reaches into every part of life. Space is what allows light to enter a room. Space is what allows fresh air to move through an open window. Space is what allows music to breathe between notes. Without space, even beautiful things can start to feel heavy. The same is true in the heart. When the heart is crowded with worry, fear, control, and endless need, there is very little room left for grace to settle. There is very little room for peace to be felt. There is very little room for blessings to be noticed, received, and trusted. So many people think the answer is always to do more, ask more, push more, prove more, fix more. But sometimes the answer is not more effort. Sometimes the answer is more room, more stillness, more openness, more trust, more breathing space inside your own soul. Because the universe does not force its gifts into a crowded heart. It offers gently, it moves quietly, it arrives in moments of openness, and if the mind is too busy shouting, it is easy to miss what has already come. Think of how different it feels to walk into a room that is clean, open, and calm compared to one that is packed with too much. In one space, your body relaxes. In the other, your body tightens. The same thing happens inside you. If your inner world is filled every day with fear, pressure, old hurts, and the need to control every outcome, then even when something good appears, you may not know how to receive it. You may question it, fear it, or push it away without even realizing it. Not because you do not want it, but because there is no room for it to land softly. This is why letting go matters so much. Letting go is how you create room. Letting go of constant worry creates room for peace. Letting go of overthinking creates room for clarity. Letting go of old pain creates room for new love. Letting go of control creates room for trust. Letting go of the need to have every answer creates room for surprise. Space is not emptiness in a cold way. Space is readiness. Space is openness. Space is the quiet condition in which blessings can finally be felt. The universe is always giving in ways both seen and unseen. It gives in timing. It gives in guidance. It gives in protection. It gives in ideas, in chances, in lessons, in unexpected comfort, in healing that happens slowly, in doors that open, and even in doors that close. But when the mind is crowded, it often sees only what is missing. It sees only delay. It sees only the thing that has not happened yet. And because of that, it misses the kindness that is already present. A crowded heart can sit in the middle of many gifts and still feel poor. An open heart can notice one small blessing and feel full of life. There is something powerful about becoming empty in the right way. Not empty of joy, not empty of hope, but empty of what has been blocking your peace. Empty of the heavy thoughts you repeat so often that they begin to feel true. Empty of the old fear that says you must hold everything together alone. Empty of the belief that blessings can only come through struggle. Empty of the idea that life has to look a certain way before you can relax. When these things begin to leave, even a little, space appears. And with that space comes a new kind of breath, a new kind of seeing, a new kind of receiving. Imagine holding a box so full that nothing else can fit inside. No matter how beautiful the gift, there is simply no room. In many ways, this is how people move through life. Their mind is full of fear. Their body is full of tension. Their heart is full of old hurt. Their spirit is full of pressure. And then they wonder why even good things do not seem to stay. But the answer is not to blame yourself. The answer is to begin making room, room by resting, room by releasing, room by forgiving, room by softening, room by saying, I do not need to carry all of this anymore. This is one of the deep gifts of prayer, meditation, quiet time, slow breathing, and simple stillness. These moments do not always change outer life right away, but they create inner space, and inner space changes the way you receive outer life. A calm person can hear guidance more easily than a frantic one. A soft heart can receive love more easily than a guarded one. A peaceful mind can notice opportunities more quickly than a fearful one. When there is space, life can speak. When there is space, your own wisdom can rise. When there is space, the universe does not have to struggle to get your attention. Sometimes the blessings people ask for are already near, but there is so much fear in the way that they cannot be recognized. Love may be near, but fear keeps asking, what if this goes wrong? Help may be near, but pride says, I must do everything alone. Rest may be available, but pressure says, I have not earned it yet. Guidance may be arriving, but the mind is so noisy that it cannot hear the quiet next step. Space changes this. Space lowers the noise. Space softens the body. Space helps the heart trust what it is receiving instead of pushing it away. This is why the less you need, the more the universe gives. Because when you need less in a fearful way, you create more space in a peaceful way. You stop filling every corner of life with panic. You stop chasing proof every minute. You stop crowding the future with demands. You stop pressing your whole worth into one answer, and all at once, life has room to move. It has room to surprise you. It has room to bring something gentle instead of dramatic. It has room to show you that blessings are not always loud. Many of them arrive quietly. An open hand is a beautiful image for this truth. A closed fist is tight. It is hard. It is trying to hold, protect, control. An open hand is soft. It is ready. It is trusting enough to receive and free enough not to cling. The universe gives more to open hands, not because closed hands are bad, but because closed hands cannot receive very well. If your whole life has taught you to clench, then it makes sense that opening feels new. It makes sense that trust feels risky. But every time you relax the grip a little, you make room for something better to enter. The same is true for the heart. A closed heart may think it is staying safe, but it is also keeping out the very thing it longs for. A crowded heart may think it is staying prepared, but it is also staying tired. An open heart does not mean a careless heart. It means a heart that is willing to let life breathe. It means a heart that no longer believes fear is the only form of protection. It means a heart that is learning that softness can be wise and openness can be strong. When there is space, gratitude becomes easier too. It is hard to feel grateful when the mind is full of pressure. It is hard to notice beauty when you are rushing past the present moment, trying to control tomorrow. But with space, simple things begin to shine: the sound of morning, the warmth of sunlight, a little calm in the middle of a hard day, a kind message, a moment of strength you did not know you had. Space helps you notice, and what you notice, you can receive. What you receive with gratitude begins to grow. There is also more space for intuition when the inner world is not so crowded. Intuition is often quiet. It is a small knowing, a soft pull, a clear feeling that rises without force. But fear is loud. Fear interrupts. Fear repeats itself again and again. Fear demands answers now. So when you create space, you begin to hear what fear had been covering up. You hear the deeper yes. You hear the wiser no. You feel the next step more clearly. You stop trying to push your way through life and start moving with a kind of gentle inner guidance. And this kind of space does not have to be dramatic. You do not have to leave your whole life behind to create it. Sometimes space begins with one slow breath. Sometimes it begins when you stop checking for an answer every 5 minutes. Sometimes it begins when you sit quietly for a moment instead of filling every silence. Sometimes it begins when you say no to what drains you. Sometimes it begins when you stop repeating the story that says you are lacking something. Sometimes it begins when you forgive yourself for being tired. Little openings matter. They teach the heart how to relax. The universe often enters through these small openings, through one moment of trust, through one act of surrender, through one choice not to panic, through one morning where you decide to begin the day in peace instead of pressure, through one night where you put your worries down before sleep and say, I do not need to solve everything right now. These moments create space, and space changes the whole feeling of life. It tells your spirit you do not need to live crowded anymore. It tells your body you may soften now. It tells your heart you are safe enough to receive. It is also important to remember that space is not something you create once and never return to. It is a practice. Each day, life may try to crowd your mind again. Old fears may come back. Old habits may rise. The need to control may return. But every day, you can choose again. You can clear a little room again. You can breathe again. You can release again. You can remember again that life gives most easily where there is room. This is not failure. This is the rhythm of growth. Open, receive, tighten, notice, soften again. Make room again. If your life has felt heavy lately, maybe the question is not only, what do I need more of? Maybe the question is, what do I need less of, so that good can enter more freely? Less fear, less rushing, less pressure, less old pain carried into every new moment. Less control, less noise, less attachment to one outcome, less trying to earn what love would give you freely. These things do not make life richer. They only make it more crowded. When they begin to fall away, even a little, the whole sky inside you becomes wider. And in that wider inner sky, blessings move differently. They no longer feel like things you have to wrestle into your life. They begin to feel like gifts that can finally land. A new peace lands, a new idea lands, a new chance lands, a new level of self-trust lands, a new kind of love lands. Sometimes the first thing the universe gives when there is space is not the outer thing you expected. Sometimes it gives peace first, sometimes clarity first, sometimes release first, and often that is the greater gift, because once peace is there, you are able to receive everything else in a healthier way. So let your heart hear this clearly. You do not need to force more into your life right now. You may need to make more room to breathe, room to trust, room to rest, room to receive what is already coming. The universe is not always asking for more effort. Sometimes it is asking for more openness, more softness, more willingness to unclench, because the less crowded your heart becomes, the more life can pour through it, and the more room you make inside, the more the universe can place in your hands without it turning into another burden. That is the quiet wisdom of space. It does not shout, it does not rush, it simply opens, and in that opening, life begins to move again. One of the deepest reasons people feel tired in life is not always because they are doing too much with their hands, but because they are holding too much with their mind. They are trying to control every detail, every outcome, every response, every delay, every conversation, every next step. They are trying to make sure nothing goes wrong, trying to prepare for every possible problem, trying to keep life from surprising them. And while this may seem like a way to stay safe, it often becomes the very thing that steals peace. Control feels strong for a moment, but over time it becomes heavy. It tightens the body. It fills the mind with noise. It makes even simple days feel hard to carry. The need to control usually does not come from wisdom. It comes from fear. It comes from the part of you that has been hurt before and now believes that if you can just plan enough, think enough, watch enough, and manage enough, maybe you will never feel that pain again. But life does not move according to fear. Life is larger than the mind's need to hold everything still. No matter how tightly you try to control people, time, change, or the future, life will keep moving. It will keep shifting, opening, closing, turning, and unfolding in ways that the mind cannot fully predict. And that is why control becomes so exhausting. You are trying to freeze something that was never meant to stop moving. There is a difference between being responsible and being controlling. Responsibility is calm. Responsibility says, I will do what I can with care, honesty, and love. Control is anxious. Control says, I must hold everything together, or it will all fall apart. Responsibility respects your part. Control tries to carry everyone's part. Responsibility acts and then trusts. Control acts and then keeps gripping long after the moment has passed. Responsibility is grounded. Control is restless. When you begin to see this clearly, you start to notice how often control has dressed itself up as strength when it was really fear asking for certainty. So many people have learned to live this way without even knowing it. They replay conversations in their mind. They try to guess what others are thinking. They keep reaching into tomorrow, trying to solve problems that have not even arrived. They resist what is happening now because it does not match the picture they had in their head. They think peace will come only after they finally get everything arranged just right. But peace does not come from arranging life into perfection. Peace comes from loosening the grip. Peace comes from knowing that you can do your best and still allow life to breathe. Peace comes from remembering that you were never meant to carry every outcome alone. There is something deeply healing about admitting that control has not truly protected you the way you thought it would. It may have given you a feeling of movement. It may have made you feel like you were doing something. But how often has it really brought rest to your heart? How often has it truly made you feel safe for long? Usually, control asks for more control. It never feels finished. Once one thing is handled, the mind moves to the next thing to worry about. Once one answer appears, it starts chasing another. It is an endless task because fear always finds something new to hold. And this is why letting go of control is not loss. It is relief. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is not giving up on life. It is stepping into a better relationship with life. Letting go of control means you stop trying to force every answer to come in your timing. It means you stop trying to manage how everyone sees you. It means you stop making your inner peace depend on outer perfection. It means you begin to trust that there is an intelligence greater than your fear, a flow greater than your planning, a wisdom that can guide your life even when you cannot see the full path yet. That trust does not always come all at once. Sometimes it comes one small breath at a time, one moment at a time, one decision at a time, to soften instead of tighten. Maybe you notice your mind racing, and instead of feeding it, you pause. Maybe you place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, I do not need to solve everything right now. Maybe you stop asking the same fearful question again and again. Maybe you let one silence stay silent. Maybe you let one delay be a delay without turning it into a story about failure. These small moments are sacred. They are the places where control begins to loosen and peace begins to return. Think about how the body feels when it is trying to control everything. The shoulders rise, the jaw tightens, the chest feels heavy, the breath becomes shallow, the stomach knots, even the eyes become tired. This is what fear feels like in the body when it turns into control. The body carries what the mind repeats. And that is why surrender feels so physical when it finally begins. The breath deepens, the shoulders soften, the chest opens, the body gets the message that the fight can pause. The nervous system starts to settle. A new kind of strength appears, not the strength of force, but the strength of softness. Softness is not something the fearful mind understands easily. The fearful mind thinks softness means danger. It thinks if you stop gripping, everything will fall apart. But very often, the opposite is true. When you stop gripping, things begin to come into clearer view. You stop pushing past your own inner wisdom. You stop making decisions from panic. You stop chasing what drains you just because you are afraid of empty space. You stop trying to fix what is not yours to fix, and slowly, the right things begin to stand out. The right next step becomes easier to feel. You no longer move from pressure, you move from peace. That is why letting go of control is really an act of faith. It is the quiet belief that life knows how to move. It is the trust that not everything good must be forced. It is the willingness to believe that guidance is still present even when the full plan is not visible. It is the understanding that you can be deeply involved in your life without trying to command every detail of it. You can care without controlling. You can prepare without panicking. You can hope without gripping. You can move forward without dragging the future behind you. Sometimes the hardest thing to release is not control over events, but control over timing. The mind wants to know when. It wants dates, proof, signs, clear answers, fixed outcomes. It wants to feel like nothing is uncertain. But life rarely grows in that kind of straight line. Life moves in seasons. It moves in layers. It unfolds through moments that often make sense only later, when you stop demanding that everything reveal itself before its time. You begin to feel less afraid of the unknown. You begin to let mystery breathe. And there is so much peace in that. Not knowing everything is not a punishment. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is part of the beauty of being led step by step. There are many things you can influence, but very few things you can fully control. You can choose your attitude, your actions, your honesty, your care, your willingness to grow. But you cannot fully control other people's hearts, other people's timing, other people's understanding, or the exact path life will take to bring something to you. The more clearly you see this, the more gently you can return your energy to what is actually yours. This is one of the greatest forms of freedom, to stop spending your life trying to control what was never yours to carry, and to begin using that energy to come home to yourself. Coming home to yourself means returning to the place inside you that still knows how to breathe even when life feels uncertain. It means remembering that your peace is precious. It means giving yourself permission not to fight every unknown. It means trusting that being present is not laziness, resting is not failure, and allowing is not weakness. These are all powerful states of being. They tell the universe, I am no longer trying to force my way through life. I am ready to move with it. And when you move with life, something beautiful happens. You begin to notice that not every closed door is rejection. Not every delay is loss. Not every pause is empty. Sometimes life is simply making space, rearranging, protecting, guiding, softening, teaching, preparing. But you can only feel that truth when your grip begins to loosen. Fear cannot hear guidance clearly. A clenched heart cannot receive comfort easily. A controlling mind cannot rest long enough to notice grace. But surrender changes the atmosphere. It makes the soul quiet enough to hear what force could never hear. So if your mind has been tired, if your body has been carrying tension, if your heart has been pulling against life, let this be the moment you stop and breathe. You do not have to hold every piece together. You do not have to push the river. You do not have to figure out every ending before you can take the next step. You are allowed to release the need to control. You are allowed to trust the flow of life. You are allowed to believe that there is wisdom moving even now, even here, even in what you do not yet understand. Say it softly within yourself. I release the need to control. I trust the flow of life. Let those words settle into your body. Let them soften the places that have been tight for too long. Let them remind you that peace does not come from holding harder. Peace comes from opening. Peace comes from allowing. Peace comes from trusting that what is yours can reach you without fear dragging it closer. The more you release control, the lighter your heart becomes. The lighter your heart becomes, the more clearly you can feel what matters. And the more clearly you feel what matters, the less you waste your life wrestling with what was never yours to manage. There is freedom in that. There is healing in that. There is a quiet kind of joy in finally putting down the weight of false control and remembering that life is not asking you to be its master. Life is inviting you to be its partner. There are moments in life when waiting feels almost harder than doing. You can work hard, plan carefully, pray sincerely, and still find yourself standing in a space where the thing you want has not yet arrived. The heart asks, why is it taking so long? The mind begins to search for reasons. Did I miss something? Did I do something wrong? Has life forgotten me? Am I behind? And when the waiting stretches on, fear often enters quietly and starts telling stories. It says the delay must mean failure. It says the pause must mean loss. It says the silence means nothing is happening. But silence does not always mean nothing is happening. Often it means something is still being prepared. Divine timing is one of the hardest truths to trust. When the heart wants an answer now, the mind prefers clear plans and quick signs. It wants to know when, it wants to know how. It wants proof that the waiting will be worth it. But life does not always unfold on the schedule of fear. It unfolds on the schedule of readiness, alignment, and deeper wisdom. What is meant for you does not only have to arrive, it has to arrive at a time when you are able to receive it well, hold it wisely, and grow with it in peace. That is why not every delay is a denial. Sometimes a delay is protection, sometimes it is preparation, sometimes it is simply life. Making sure that what comes to you arrives in a way that truly serves your soul. There are things that may look perfect too early and would have become a burden if they had arrived before you were ready. There are answers that make sense only after a certain inner change has happened. There are doors that open only after you have outgrown the smaller room you were standing in. What seems slow from the eyes of fear may be exact from the eyes of wisdom. The human heart often believes that sooner is always better, but that is not always true. Some things become beautiful because they had time to ripen. Some things become strong because they were built slowly. Some things become safe because life waited until the wrong path had passed. If you look back over your own life, there may be moments you once called delay that later revealed themselves as grace. Perhaps something did not happen when you wanted it to, and only much later did you understand why. Perhaps something fell through, and later you saw that it was not strong enough to hold what you truly needed. Perhaps the answer came late enough for you to meet it as a stronger, wiser, more peaceful version of yourself. This is the softness of divine timing. It does not rush to calm your fear. It works to serve your deeper good. It is not moved by panic. It is moved by truth. And truth is often slower than fear wants, but far more faithful than fear can understand. The universe is not trying to tease you with delay. Life is not trying to keep good from you. Often, what is yours is already on its way, but it is arriving through roads you cannot yet see. It may be growing in silence. It may be aligning through people, moments, changes, and small hidden movements that are not visible to you yet. Just because you cannot see the whole path does not mean the path is not forming. When people do not trust timing, they often begin to force. They try to make things happen before their season. They say yes to what is not right because they are afraid that waiting means losing. They settle for what is available instead of what is true. They chase from panic. They cling to almost. They push open doors that are not ready to open, and later they often feel the weight of what was rushed. Peace leaves when timing is ignored. Not because desire is wrong, but because fear is trying to hurry what wisdom is still shaping. Trusting divine timing does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean sitting back in a lifeless way and refusing to move. It means doing your part and then allowing life to do its part. It means taking the next honest step without demanding to see the final picture. It means staying open without becoming desperate. It means preparing your heart instead of pressuring the future. It means remembering that your task is not to force every bloom open with your hands. Your task is to stay rooted, nourished, awake, and ready. There is peace in this kind of waiting, not empty waiting, not tense waiting, peaceful waiting, the kind that says, I may not understand the timing yet, but I trust that something wise is unfolding. I trust that what belongs to me will not miss me. I trust that what is delayed is not always lost. I trust that life can see farther than my fear can see. These thoughts bring rest to the heart. They loosen the panic that comes from comparing your life to someone else's path. They soften the fear that you are too late. They remind you that growth is not a race and blessings do not lose their way. So many people suffer because they keep measuring their life by outside clocks. They look around and think they should be farther ahead, should know more by now, should have received more by now, should feel more certain by now. But your path is not meant to match every other path. Your growth is not meant to bloom in someone else's season. The flower does not apologize for opening in its own time. The dawn does not rush because the night feels long. The fruit does not appear before it is ready just because someone is impatient. Nature itself moves in wisdom, not panic, and you are part of that same wisdom. It is easy to forget this in a world that celebrates rushing, proving, and constant movement. But the soul does not heal by being rushed. Love does not deepen by being rushed. True clarity does not arrive by being rushed. There are things that can only become what they are meant to become through time. And if you try to tear them out of time too early, you often harm the very thing you wanted to protect. This is why patience is not a weak state. It is sacred strength. It is trust stretched across time. It is faith wearing soft clothes. It is the calm decision not to let fear decide the meaning of every pause. There is also a beautiful truth hidden inside divine timing. What is meant for you is also moving toward you. It is not only that you are waiting for it. In many ways, it is also preparing for you. The right opportunity may be gathering its shape. The right connection may be growing through another life, another place, another unseen moment. The right healing may already be taking root beneath the surface. The right version of you may still be unfolding, becoming able to hold what once would have overwhelmed you. Timing is not empty space. Timing is living movement, even when you cannot yet see it. This is why trust matters so much. Trust keeps the heart open during seasons when results are not yet visible. Trust keeps you from calling the soil barren just because the seed has not broken through. Trust reminds you that hidden does not mean absent. True. Saint says the river is still moving even when you cannot hear it from where you stand. Trust says life has not stopped loving you simply because the answer has not arrived in the form you expected. Trust lets you breathe in the middle of becoming. When impatience rises, it often brings harsh thoughts. It says you are behind. It says others are receiving while you are being ignored. It says time is running out. It says you missed your chance. But these thoughts are not the voice of wisdom. They are the voice of fear, trying to pull you out of trust. And the answer is not to fight them with force. The answer is to return gently, again and again, to a deeper truth. What belongs to me will find me. What is for me will arrive in the right time. I am not forgotten. I am not late in the ways fear tells me I am late. My path is still unfolding. The more you say these things with sincerity, the more your energy changes. You stop grabbing at life. You stop turning every pause into a personal failure. You stop making timing mean something cruel about your worth. Instead, you begin to stand in a calm readiness. You live with open hands. You stay awake to what is here now. You prepare yourself inwardly. You allow your heart to stay soft. This is how divine timing is honored, not through panic, but through peace, not through demanding, but through trust. There may be something in your life right now that feels slow, something you have prayed for, hoped for, waited for. Maybe it is clarity, maybe it is healing, maybe it is love, maybe it is a new beginning, maybe it is a sense of inner rest you have not felt in a long time. Whatever it is, Let yourself consider this possibility. The delay is not proof that it will never come. The delay may be part of how it comes well. The weight may be shaping your hands to hold it with gratitude instead of fear. The quiet season may be growing roots you will need later. The very slowness that frustrates you may be doing holy work inside you. And if that is true, then this moment does not need panic. It needs gentleness. It needs the kind of breath that says, I trust the divine timing of my life. It needs the kind of heart that says, I do not need to rush the process to prove my faith. It needs the kind of spirit that knows that life can be deeply active even in silence. There is healing in saying this. There is release in saying this. There is rest in no longer fighting the clock with fear. Say it quietly within yourself now. I trust the divine timing of my life. What belongs to me will find me. Let these words become a soft place for your mind to rest. Let them remind your heart that waiting is not always empty, that slowness is not always loss, that not yet is not the same as never. You are not being forgotten. You are being guided. You are not being denied. You are being prepared. You are not falling behind. You are unfolding in your own sacred rhythm. The more deeply you trust this, the more peaceful you live. You stop racing through today in fear of tomorrow. You stop begging time to move faster. You stop comparing your chapter to someone else's chapter. You start noticing what this season is giving you. You start receiving the wisdom that can only be learned here. You start letting your roots grow even before the flower appears, and in that deep, quiet trust, life becomes less frightening. The future becomes less sharp. The present becomes more livable. The heart becomes more steady. That steadiness is a gift. It is what allows you to remain open while life is still unfolding. It is what allows you to stay soft instead of bitter. It is what allows you to say yes to your own becoming, because divine timing is not only about when something arrives, it is also about who you are becoming while you wait. And often, that becoming is the hidden blessing that prepares you to receive the outer answer in a whole new way. There is a kind of quiet power that enters a life when a person stops living from lack and begins living from enough. Enough does not mean you have everything. Enough does not mean every dream has already come true. Enough does not mean there is nothing left to grow into, nothing left to heal, nothing left to hope for. Enough means that in this moment, your soul is no longer starving for proof that it has value. Enough means you stop asking the world every day to tell you that you matter. Enough means you begin to feel a steady ground inside yourself, a place where peace can stand even before life looks exactly the way you want it to look. So much suffering comes from the feeling of not enough time, not enough love, not enough money, not enough progress, not enough beauty, not enough certainty, not enough proof that the future will be kind. This feeling can quietly move through every part of life. It can shape the way you talk to yourself. It can shape your choices. It can make you chase things that do not fit. Hold on to what hurts and doubt what is already good. When the heart lives in lack, it is always reaching, always comparing, always asking what is missing, and because of that, it becomes hard to rest, hard to receive, hard to notice the goodness that is already here. But when the heart begins to feel enough, something changes. The reaching softens, the comparing weakens, the panic loses its grip. You no longer come to each day like someone who must earn the right to breathe. You begin to move like someone who already belongs to life. You begin to feel that your worth is not hanging by a thread, not depending on one message, one result, one person, one number, one outcome. You begin to understand that what you are is deeper than what is happening around you, and that understanding brings peace. This peace is not loud. It does not arrive with force. It arrives quietly, like morning light entering a room. It says, I am safe in this moment. I am supported in this breath. I do not need the future to rush toward me in order to know that I am still held. This is the peace of enough. It is not lazy. It is not passive. It is alive and awake. It allows you to still desire more while not being broken by the fact that more has not yet arrived. It allows you to dream without becoming desperate. It allows you to be present without feeling empty. A person who feels enough inside becomes different in the way they move through the world. They stop trying so hard to prove themselves. They stop begging for crumbs where they deserve a full table. They stop believing every passing opinion about them. They stop making every delay a sign that they are less than others. They stop turning each small lack into a deep wound. Instead, they begin to carry a quiet dignity. They begin to walk with less hunger and more trust. And it is from that place that life often starts to feel more generous. This is part of the mystery and the truth that the less you need, the more the universe gives. When you no longer come from desperation, you stop pushing blessings away with fear. When you no longer ask the world to fill a hole in your worth, you become able to receive from a calmer place. When you feel enough inside, you do not cling as hard. You do not chase as wildly. You do not fear the loss of every good thing the moment it arrives. And because of that, you are more open, more stable, more able to receive what comes without turning it into another burden. Inner lack creates outer struggle in ways people do not always notice. If you feel not enough inside, you may overwork because you are trying to prove your value. You may overgive because you are afraid people will leave. You may stay in the wrong places because being chosen feels more important than being at peace. You may settle because you fear there will not be more. You may live in constant pressure because you believe rest must be earned through pain. Inner lack is never satisfied for long because it is trying to use outside things to solve an inside wound. But enough changes that pattern. Enough says, I can still grow without hating where I am. Enough says, I can still want more without making this moment empty. Enough says, I am worthy before the answer comes. Enough says, I do not need to shrink, chase, or prove in order to deserve good. Enough says, I am already held by life. And from that place, I can receive what comes with a more peaceful heart. These thoughts do not make life smaller. They make you freer inside it. There is something very healing about no longer asking success to tell you who you are. No longer asking another person's love to tell you that you matter. No longer asking constant progress to prove that you are safe. These things may still be part of your journey, but they no longer carry the full weight of your identity. That weight returns to the soul, and the soul is strong enough to hold it. This is why peace grows when you begin to feel enough. You stop handing your center away to every passing event. You begin to live from your center instead. And when you live from your center, life feels less sharp. A hard day is still a hard day, but it does not become proof that you are failing. A delay is still a delay, but it does not become proof that you are forgotten. A quiet season is still quiet, but it does not become proof that nothing good is ever coming. Enough protects the heart from turning every outside movement into an inside collapse. It creates a deeper steadiness. It gives you room to breathe through what is changing without losing yourself in it. This is not something that always appears overnight. For many people, learning to feel enough is a slow healing. It comes from speaking more gently to yourself. It comes from noticing how often fear says there is not enough and choosing not to believe every word of it. It comes from resting without guilt. It comes from receiving small blessings without saying they are not enough to matter. It comes from honoring your own life even while it is still unfinished. Bit by bit, the soul learns that enough is not a final number. It is a way of being with what is here. Enough also makes gratitude possible in a deeper way. When the heart is always focused on lack, gratitude feels forced. But when the heart begins to feel enough, even simple things become precious. A quiet cup of tea, a breath taken without hurry, the fact that you made it through another day, a peaceful thought in the middle of stress, a little bit of strength returning, a small kindness from someone, a moment of sunlight through a window. These are not small when the soul is awake. They become signs of support, signs of presence, signs that life is still giving. And gratitude creates more peace because it shifts the heart from panic into receiving. It says, there is goodness here already. It says, I do not have to wait for some perfect future before I can soften. It says this moment may not contain everything, but it contains enough for one honest breath, one grateful pause, one quiet yes. That yes is powerful. It changes the energy of the whole day. It makes the heart less hungry. It tells the universe, I know how to receive what is here. And a heart that knows how to receive what is here becomes more ready for what is coming. Feeling enough inside also helps you stop chasing from fear. You no longer run after everything that sparkles simply because you are afraid of being empty. You no longer say yes to things that cost your peace just because they promise quick relief. You no longer panic when life asks you to wait. You begin to choose from calmness. You begin to notice what truly nourishes you and what only excites your fear for a moment. This is maturity of the spirit. This is the soul becoming wise enough to choose peace over pressure. There may still be days when lack tries to return, days when fear whispers that you are behind, that you have not done enough, that you need more before you can finally rest. When those days come, it helps to return to a simple truth. I am enough in this moment. I am safe in this breath. I am supported by life even now. These are not empty words. They are a way of bringing the mind home. They are a way of placing your hand back on the center of your own life. They are a way of reminding the nervous system that it does not need to live in constant emergency. Peace comes more easily to the one who knows they are enough, not perfect, not finished, not beyond growth, but enough. Enough to be loved, enough to be guided, enough to rest, enough to receive, enough to keep going, enough to begin again, enough to trust that life is not withholding your worth until some future moment. Worth is here now. Safety can begin now. Softness can begin now. This is the beginning of a gentler life. And from that gentler life, things begin to change. You attract differently. You choose differently. You wait differently. You love differently. You stop trying to take from the world what you can only truly remember within yourself. Then, when the universe gives, you are able to receive with open hands instead of fearful ones. You are able to say thank you instead of please do not leave. You are able to enjoy without clinging, grow without rushing, hope without panicking. That is the peace of enough. It is the place where striving ends and receiving begins. Say it quietly now within your own heart. I am safe. I am supported. I am enough in this moment. Let those words rest where fear has been speaking too loudly. Let them soften the place inside you that keeps trying to earn what was always your birthright. Let them remind you that the universe gives most freely to the heart that is no longer trying to fill itself through force. When you feel enough inside, life feels more open outside, and that is where a new kind of abundance begins. There are times when truth is easier to understand than it is to feel. You may hear the words, trust life, let go, receive more, need less, and still notice that your body remains tense and your mind remains full. This is natural. The heart does not always soften just because it hears wisdom once. Sometimes it needs a practice. Sometimes it needs a quiet moment where the body, the breath, and the mind are invited into the truth together. That is why a gentle inner practice matters so much. It helps you move from only thinking about peace to actually feeling peace. It helps you stop carrying everything in your head and begin releasing it from your whole being. So take a slow breath now, even as you read. Let it be easy. Let it be soft. You do not need to breathe in a perfect way. You only need to notice that your breath is here and that it is willing to meet you where you are. This is where peace begins, not in some future version of your life, not in a more perfect moment. Not after everything is solved. Peace begins in this breath. in this pause, in this willingness to stop tightening for a moment and simply be here. There is so much healing in pausing. Most people rush from thought to thought, task to task, fear to fear, without ever stopping long enough to ask what they are carrying inside. They feel tired, but they keep going. They feel pressure, but they keep pushing. They feel sadness, fear, or heaviness, but they keep trying to outwork it, outrun it, or silence it. Yet the soul does not heal through rushing. It heals through being met. And one of the kindest things you can do for yourself is to stop and say, what am I carrying right now that I do not need to carry alone? Maybe it is worry about the future. Maybe it is pressure to be more than you are today. Maybe it is fear that something important will not happen. Maybe it is pain from something that already happened and still feels alive inside you. Maybe it is the old habit of trying to control what no longer belongs in your hands. You do not need to judge what comes up. You do not need to explain it all. You only need to notice it with honesty and gentleness. That alone begins to lighten the load. Imagine for a moment that all the heaviness you have been carrying can be gathered into a few simple shapes, not to make it dramatic, but to make it visible. Each shape holds something that has been living in your chest, your thoughts, your body. One might hold fear. One might hold pressure. One might hold the need to know. One might hold hurt. One might hold the belief that you have to make everything happen by force. One might hold the quiet sadness of feeling behind. Just notice them. Feel how long you have been carrying them. Feel the way they ask your body to stay tense. Feel the way they steal your rest without asking permission. Now picture yourself standing near something calm and safe. It may be soft light. It may be still water. It may be a quiet, open space filled with peace. There is no need to make it complicated. Just let it be a place that feels kind, a place that does not judge you for being tired, a place that can hold what you no longer want to hold alone. You are not here to fight your burdens. You are here to release them. You are here to let them be met by something gentler than fear. Take one of those shapes, one of those burdens, and place it into that calm, safe space. Place the fear there. Place the pressure there. Place the old pain there. Place the need to control there. You do not need to know exactly how it changes. Just allow yourself to imagine that once you set it down, it is no longer sitting inside your chest with the same weight. Imagine it being softened. Imagine it being dissolved. Imagine it being carried. Imagine life saying to you, you do not have to hold this by yourself anymore. Then do it again. Take another burden and place it down. Then another. Slowly, gently, without hurry. This is not about forcing yourself to become light all at once. It is about remembering that release happens one layer at a time. The heart opens little by little. The body softens little by little. Peace returns in waves, not in demands. And each time you set something down, even inwardly, your spirit gets the message that safety is possible. Your breath gets the message that it can deepen. Your nervous system gets the message that it can begin to settle. Notice what begins to change inside you when you stop carrying everything at once. Notice if the jaw softens. Notice if the shoulders lower a little. Notice if the chest feels less tight. Notice if the thoughts become less sharp. This is the quiet power of inner practice. It reminds the whole self that peace is not only an idea, it is a state your body can remember. It is a way of being that becomes more available each time you choose to return to it. You do not need a perfect room, a perfect mood, or a perfect life to practice this. You only need willingness. You can do this in the morning before the day begins to speak loudly. You can do this at night when your heart is full. You can do it in the middle of a hard afternoon. You can do it when fear starts racing ahead. You can do it when you are tired of thinking. Close your eyes if that helps. Place your hand over your heart if that helps. And remind yourself that letting go is allowed, that softness is allowed, that peace is allowed. Sometimes people believe they must stay tense in order to stay ready. They believe if they relax, life will catch them off guard. But being tense is not the same as being prepared. Tension drains you. Presence strengthens you. Tension fills the mind with noise. Presence lets you hear your own wisdom. Tension makes every problem feel bigger. Presence brings you back to what is actually here. This gentle practice is really a way of returning to presence. It is a way of telling yourself, I am here now. I do not need to live in tomorrow yet. I do not need to solve everything in this breath. I only need to soften enough to let life meet me here. You may notice that some things are easier to release than others. Some fears loosen quickly. Some return again and again. That is all right. You are not failing if something comes back. You are human. Healing is often a rhythm. Release, return, release again. So if the same worry rises tomorrow, meet it again with the same kindness. Set it down again. Breathe through it again. Let the practice be simple. Let it become a familiar path back to yourself. Over time, this inner practice does something beautiful. It teaches you that peace does not only depend on what happened, is outside you. It shows you that even when life is still unfolding, you can create a moment of calm within. It reminds you that the universe often speaks in the quiet places. It teaches you how to make room, and the more room you make inside, the more love, clarity, support, and grace can enter without getting lost in the noise. So, if you have been feeling full lately, full of pressure, full of need, full of fear, let this be the place where you empty what no longer belongs in your hands. Not because you are weak, but because you are wise enough to know that carrying everything is not the same as being strong. Real strength sometimes looks like breathing deeply. Real strength sometimes looks like putting something down. Real strength sometimes looks like saying, I trust life enough to stop gripping this moment so tightly. Say it quietly now. I release what feels heavy. I soften. I trust. Let those words move through you like a warm hand over a tired heart. Let them remind you that your burden is not your identity, your fear is not your truth, your pressure is not your purpose. Beneath all of that, there is still a calm place in you, a steady place, a place that knows how to receive, and every time you practice returning there, you become a little more open, a little more peaceful, a little more ready for all the good that life has been trying to place gently in your hands. There is a very different feeling between receiving and chasing. Chasing feels tight. It feels restless. It feels like your peace is running ahead of you, always somewhere else, always in the next answer, the next message, the next result, the next win. Chasing says, if I can just get there, if I can just make this happen, if I can just hold on hard enough, then I will finally be able to breathe. But receiving feels different. Receiving is softer. It is calmer. It does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop running after life as though it is trying to escape you. So many people have been taught to chase nearly everything. Chase success, chase love, chase approval, chase healing, chase certainty, chase proof that things are working out. They learn to believe that if something matters, it must be pursued through pressure. If something is valuable, it must be won through struggle. If something is meant for them, they must prove their worthiness by exhausting themselves for it. And because of this, they often confuse anxiety with effort and control with commitment. But what is truly meant for you does not need fear to drag it into your life. What is right for you may still ask for action, courage, and honesty. But it does not ask for panic as payment. Chasing often begins in the belief that something outside you must arrive quickly in order for you to feel complete. So the mind runs. It repeats the same worries. It looks for signs. It keeps checking. It keeps reaching. It keeps pushing. But no matter how much energy is spent, the innate, our hunger stays alive because chasing is not really about movement. It is about fear. It is about the fear that if you stop pushing, nothing good will happen. It is about the fear that you must prove your devotion through struggle. It is about the fear that life does not know where to find you unless you shout your needs every minute. Receiving asks you to believe something very different. It asks you to believe that life is not deaf to your heart. It asks you to believe that peace is not laziness. It asks you to believe that openness is not weakness. It asks you to believe that calm can be powerful, that trust can be active, that stillness can be fertile. Receiving says, I will do what is mine to do. But I will not live in fear while I do it. I will move, but I will not scramble. I will hope, but I will not beg. I will remain open, but I will not chase from panic. This shift changes the whole energy of your life. When you are chasing, you often miss what is already here because all your attention is on what is not here yet. You rush past simple blessings. You doubt good things when they arrive because fear is still in charge. You become so focused on getting that you forget how to receive. But when you stop chasing, your senses return. You begin to notice. You begin to trust. You begin to enjoy what is in front of you. You become able to say yes to life without demanding that it prove itself in a certain way first. There is great freedom in understanding that what belongs to you can come to you through peace. It can find you through alignment. It can reach you through timing. It can appear when your hands are open, not only when they are tired. This does not mean you stop showing up. It means you stop showing up in desperation. You bring your full heart, your honesty, your willingness, but you leave fear behind as much as you can. And the more you do this, the more natural receiving becomes. Think of the difference between standing under the rain with a closed umbrella and standing there with your face turned upward, open to what is falling. The rain is already there, but your posture changes what reaches you. Life is often like that. Blessings, support, guidance, and peace may already be near. But if your whole being is braced in fear, you are not easily available to receive them. Chasing is like moving in circles under a closed sky. Receiving is like standing still long enough for grace to touch your skin. Many people are tired not because life has given them too little, but because they have spent so much energy running after what could only be received in stillness. They have chased peace instead of becoming peaceful. They have chased love instead of becoming open to love. They have chased abundance while speaking the language of fear all day. They have chased answers while refusing the quiet where answers often rise. This is not something to feel guilty about. It is simply something to see clearly, because the moment you see it, you can begin to choose differently. To receive instead of chase means you begin the day in a different state, not in panic, but in trust, not in pressure, but in openness. You may still have hopes. You may still have work to do. You may still have prayers that are not yet answered, but you do not begin by running after them in your mind. You begin by returning to your center. You begin by remembering that you are already held. You begin by saying, "What is mine is not lost. What is true for me can reach me. I do not need to exhaust myself trying to force what life can bring in a more peaceful way." There is also something deeply beautiful about receiving, because it teaches humility in the best sense. It teaches you that not everything is accomplished through force. Some things are given. Some things arrive through grace. Some things come through timing, connection, kindness, and moments you could not have planned. Chasing makes life feel like a battlefield. Receiving makes life feel like a relationship. And relationships require listening, trust, patience, and the ability to let another force move too. When you treat life like a relationship instead of a fight, you soften. And in that softness, so much becomes possible. You may have noticed that the more desperate you feel, the more unclear everything becomes. Fear clouds judgment. Pressure makes every decision seem urgent. Need makes it hard to hear what is actually right. But calm changes that. Calm helps you choose what is aligned instead of what only relieves anxiety for a moment. Calm helps you wait when waiting is wise. Calm helps you recognize what flows and what only drains. Calm lets you receive the right thing instead of grabbing the nearest thing. This is why receiving is not passive at all. It is active trust. It is deep listening. It is staying available to good without trying to control its every path. It is keeping your heart open while letting life unfold with its own intelligence. It is taking the step that is yours, while refusing to turn the whole journey into an emergency, it is becoming the kind of person who can say, "I am ready," without also saying, "And it must happen exactly now, exactly this way, or I will lose my peace." The universe often gives more to the one who knows how to receive, because receiving comes with less resistance. A heart that is open does not fight every gift. A mind that is calm does not question every blessing into silence. A spirit that trusts does not turn every delay into despair. When you are receiving, you are in partnership with life. You are saying, "I am here. I am available. I am willing. I trust that what is meant for me can find me without panic leading the way." So if you have been chasing, let this be a moment of rest. Let this be the point where you stop running inside. Let this be the point where you remember that not all movement is progress, and not all stillness is delay. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop chasing what is already trying to reach you through a gentler path. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is trust that your constant worrying is not what keeps blessings alive. Sometimes the wisest thing you can do is open your hands and say, "I am ready to receive." Say it softly now within yourself. I stop chasing from fear. I open myself to receive. What is meant for me will find me in peace. Let those words create a new rhythm inside you. Let them change the way you wait. Let them change the way you hope. Let them change the way you move through this day. Because when you stop running after every answer, you begin to hear the quiet guidance already present. When you stop chasing, you become able to notice what is arriving. When you stop chasing, life begins to feel less like a test and more like a flow. And in that flow, blessings come differently. They do not always crash into your life. Sometimes they arrive softly, almost quietly, a new sense of calm, a clear yes, a needed no, a feeling of safety where there used to be pressure, a door that opens without forcing, a connection that feels natural, a solution that appears after you stop chasing it. These are not small things. They are signs that the universe moves well in open spaces. They are signs that you do not have to live in constant pursuit in order to be carried toward what is right for you. Gratitude changes the atmosphere of the heart. It does not always change outer life in one moment, but it changes the way you stand inside your life. And that changes more than many people realize. A grateful heart is softer. It is more awake. It is more able to notice what is here instead of only grieving what is not here yet. Gratitude does not mean pretending that everything is perfect. It does not mean denying pain, ignoring loss, or forcing yourself to smile when your spirit feels tired. Gratitude means you are willing to see that even in an unfinished life, something good is still present, something kind is still here, something supportive is still reaching toward you. This matters deeply because fear narrows vision. Fear keeps pointing at what is missing. Fear keeps asking, what if nothing changes? What if there is not enough? What if I lose what I have? What if I never get what I need? And when the mind lives in that place too long, the heart begins to feel poor. Even when life is still giving, gratitude widens the view again. It says, yes, there may still be unanswered questions, but there is also breath in this body. There is still light in the sky. There is still something to receive right now. There is still support, still beauty, still a chance to soften. Gratitude does not erase difficulty. It brings balance to the way you see. There is also something quietly powerful about gratitude because it tells the universe, I notice, I see what is being given, am not moving through life blind to grace. I am not only asking for more, I am honoring what is here, and that energy matters. A heart that knows how to recognize a blessing becomes more able to hold a blessing. A spirit that knows how to say thank you becomes more ready to receive without fear. Gratitude is not a bargain. It is not something you perform to trick life into rewarding you. It is a real opening. It is the natural response of a soul that is learning to receive. Think about how different it feels to eat a meal while rushing, distracted, and anxious compared to eating the same meal with awareness and thanks. The food may be the same, but the experience is not the same. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into places of connection. It slows you just enough to actually receive what is already in front of you. The same is true all through life. A small kindness, a gentle morning, a little peace in the middle of a hard week, the strength to keep going, the chance to begin again. These things become more alive when they are met with gratitude. This is one of the reasons gratitude opens the door to more. It trains the heart to live in receiving instead of grasping. It shifts the mind from panic to presence. It tells your inner world that goodness does not always have to arrive in giant ways to be real. And once your heart begins to believe that, life starts to feel less empty. You stop overlooking the quiet miracles. You stop acting as though only the biggest answers count. You start recognizing that grace often comes in small forms first: a breath, a pause, a kind word, a moment of rest, a little hope returning, a small sign that you are being carried more than you realized. Many people find gratitude difficult when life feels heavy, and that is understandable. When the heart is tired, gratitude can seem distant, but gratitude is not about ignoring the weight. It is about noticing that the weight is not the only thing here. Even in hard seasons, there is often something to thank life for. Perhaps not for everything, but within everything. You may not be grateful for the pain, but you may be grateful for the strength that met you inside it. You may not be grateful for the delay, but you may be grateful for what the waiting is teaching your heart. You may not be grateful that life is uncertain, but you may be grateful for the breath that carries you through uncertainty, one moment at a time. This kind of gratitude is not false. It is honest and gentle. It does not ask you to lie. It only asks you to remain open enough to notice that blessings still exist beside your questions. Open enough to see that support still exists beside your struggle. Open enough to admit that even now life has not completely stopped giving. In fact, many people discover that the darkest seasons make gratitude more real, not less, because they teach the soul how precious even small mercies can be. Gratitude also softens the need for control. When you are grateful, even briefly, you stop fighting the moment quite so hard. You stop demanding that life prove itself before you allow yourself to breathe. You stop acting as though peace must wait until the future is arranged. Gratitude brings you back to what is present. It grounds you in what is real. It tells your body there is enough goodness here for one thankful breath. And one thankful breath can change the whole feeling of a day. You do not need a long list or a perfect ritual for gratitude to matter. Sometimes it is just a whisper. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for the strength to keep going. Thank you for the quiet. Thank you for the lesson. Thank you for the chance to begin again. These small words have power because they change your direction inwardly. They turn the heart toward openness. They turn the mind away from endless lack. They remind the spirit that it lives in a world where goodness still moves. And when gratitude becomes part of your way of living, it shapes your energy in beautiful ways. You become less hurried, less sharp, less hungry for constant proof. You begin to move with a little more softness, a little more steadiness. You begin to trust that more can come without you living in fear all day. You begin to sense that life is not only asking you to achieve and manage, but also to notice and receive. Gratitude helps you do that. Gratitude makes room. Gratitude opens the heart like a window. It is often the simplest gratitude that carries the most healing. Thank you for the body that still rises. Thank you for the water that refreshes. Thank you for the light that returns each morning. Thank you for the one person who understands. Thank you for the little peace that arrived today. Thank you that I made it through another night. Thank you that hope still exists somewhere in me, even if only as a small flame. These are not tiny things. They are anchors. They are reminders that life has not abandoned you. The more you focus on what is quietly present, the less fear controls the story. This does not mean you never think about what you want. It means you stop letting what is missing erase what is already here. And from that shift, something beautiful happens. The heart becomes less desperate. It becomes more available. It becomes more able to welcome what comes next with trust instead of panic. That is why gratitude opens the door, not because it changes life into a perfect picture, but because it opens you into a better state for meeting life. So let gratitude become simple. Let it be real. Let it meet you where you are. At the end of the day, you might ask yourself, what did life give me today that I almost missed? Maybe it was a moment of quiet. Maybe it was the courage to say no. Maybe it was the patience to wait. Maybe it was the warmth of the sun. Maybe it was the feeling that you are not as alone as fear says you are. Let these moments matter. Let them teach your heart how to see. Say it softly now. Thank you for what is here. Thank you for what is coming. Thank you for the good I can see and the good I cannot yet see. Let these words settle into the deeper parts of you. Let them remind you that gratitude is not only for the finished blessing. Gratitude can begin while the blessing is still on its way. In fact, that kind of gratitude may be one of the clearest signs of trust. It says, I am open, I am ready, I know that life is still moving, and with a heart like that, the door opens wider. There comes a point when the heart grows tired of carrying what was never meant to be carried through force, tired of chasing, tired of fearing, tired of needing every answer before it can breathe, tired of trying to control the flow of life, and wondering why peace feels far away. And sometimes that tiredness is not a failure. Sometimes it is a holy turning point. Sometimes it is the moment when the soul becomes ready to live differently, ready to soften, ready to trust, ready to receive, ready to let life be larger than fear. The truth remains simple, even if it takes time to fully live it. The less you need, the more the universe gives. The less you cling from fear, the more room there is for grace. The less you chase and panic, the more clearly you can feel what is already moving toward you. The less you try to control every outcome, the more peacefully you can walk with life as it unfolds. This truth is not asking you to become empty in a sad way. It is inviting you to become open in a peaceful way. It is asking you to make space for what force can never hold. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not being punished by delay. You are not unloved because life is still unfolding. You are being led through your own season, through your own timing, through your own sacred becoming. What is meant for you does not lose your name. What is meant for you does not need fear to make it real. What is meant for you can find you through trust, through alignment, through openness, through the kind of quiet readiness that does not demand but allows. There is peace available to you even now before every answer arrives. There is rest available to you even now before the next chapter becomes clear. There is support available to you even now, even if your mind has been too crowded to feel it. Life has not stopped holding you simply because you cannot see the whole path. The universe has not gone silent simply because things are moving slowly. There is movement in what feels still. There is wisdom in what feels delayed. There is grace in what fear cannot yet understand. So let yourself stop fighting this moment. Let yourself put down the weight of false control. Let yourself release the need to run peace through exhaustion. Let yourself believe that your worth is already here, that your value is already real, that your life does not have to become perfect before you can soften. This is where the healing begins. Not at the end of the road, but here. Not after every prayer is answered, but here. Not after fear disappears completely, but here in the middle of real life, where you choose trust, one breath at a time. Place your hand on your heart now, inwardly if not outwardly, and feel the quiet truth of your own presence. You are here. You are breathing. You are still becoming. You are still guided. You are still allowed to begin again. Let this moment be enough. Let this breath be enough. Let this small opening in your heart be enough for grace to enter. It does not need to be dramatic. It only needs to be honest. Say softly within yourself, I release the need to force. I trust the timing of my life. I am open to receive all good. What is meant for me will find me. I am safe. I am supported. I am enough. Let these words move through you gently. Let them settle where fear has been shouting. Let them soothe the places inside you that forgot that peace is possible before certainty arrives. Let them become a new rhythm, a softer way of living, a deeper way of trusting. And when fear returns, as it sometimes will, return to this truth again. When pressure rises, soften again. When lack speaks loudly, remember enough again. When the future feels far away, come back to this breath again. Life is not asking you to master everything. It is asking you to stay open, to stay present, to stay willing, to keep choosing peace over panic, gratitude over grasping, trust over force. This is how the heart learns to receive. This is how the soul remembers that it was never meant to live in constant chase. The universe gives most freely where there is room. So make room in your heart, make room in your breath, make room in your thoughts, make room through gratitude, make room through surrender, make room through patience, make room through the quiet belief that what belongs to you can come in peace. You do not have to tear blessings out of the sky. You do not have to run yourself empty to be found by what is already looking for you. You only need to become available to the good that is always moving. Trust this. Trust that life knows how to reach you. Trust that rest is not weakness. Trust that slowness can be sacred. Trust that peace is a form of power. Trust that open hands receive more than fearful fists. Trust that your soul knows something deeper than urgency. Trust that even now, in ways seen and unseen, life is still giving, still guiding, still holding, still preparing, still loving. And walk forward with that softness. Let your eyes look for quiet blessings. Let your heart stay open to gentle surprises. Let your spirit stop measuring itself by fear. Expect good things, not with tension, but with calmness. Expect grace, not because life owes you, but because life is full of gifts for the one who knows how to receive them. Expect the right timing. Expect the right openings. Expect support. Expect peace. Expect that the universe can meet you in ways more beautiful than fear can imagine. So as this settles into you, remember the message at the center of it all. The less you need, the more the universe gives. When you release fear, life has more room to move. When you loosen your grip, your heart becomes lighter. When you stop chasing every answer, you begin to hear the wisdom that was already near. When you trust timing, You stop turning delay into despair. When you feel enough inside, life begins to feel less like a struggle and more like a gift. When you choose gratitude, you open the door wider. You do not have to hold so tightly anymore. You do not have to prove your worth through exhaustion. You do not have to make every blessing happen through force. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to soften. You are allowed to trust that what is yours can reach you without fear leading the way. Life knows your name. Life knows your path. Life knows how to guide what belongs to you into your hands at the right time. So carry this gently with you now. Let it shape the way you think, the way you wait, the way you pray, the way you move through ordinary moments. Return to it when the mind gets loud. Return to it when the heart feels hungry. Return to it when fear tells you to chase. Come back to the quiet truth that peace creates space, and space lets grace enter. And let these final words rest in you like a blessing. I trust life. I release what is heavy. I welcome what is mine. I am open. I am peaceful. And I am ready to receive.